Alright, I'm going to try to do this all in one take. It's really tough because I'm being lazy and I don't feel like editing any of this and splicing it together. So I'm just going to go over as quick as I can basically the steps to like how you would chart a song with harmonies. This one actually doesn't have harmonies, but we're going to pretend that it does. I'm going to show you how you would chart it, and then after everything I'm going to throw in some music theory because it's just really important for you to understand just the base of how a major chord is formed. And once you understand how a major chord is shaped, you'll understand how harmonies work, and you'll understand how to chart all your own harmonies for yourself. So what I did was, so I'm already done with this custom. I already charted it out. I did all the phrase markers and the overdrive. So I'm just going to like delete a little portion of it and rechart it and show you. I want to show you first how to pitch specific parts of it, how to do bends right here, and then how to like import lyrics, how to do phrase markers, and that. I'm gonna run through all that as quick as I can while still giving you good information. And then at the end I will show you how to do a major chord and how to use that for harmonies. Maybe I won't do it at the end. Maybe I'll just do it whenever I do it because I don't know. I'm winging it, man. I'm totally winging it. Okay, so first off, these are in the vocals. These are charted to the vocal MIDI. Normally when I'm charting anything with harmonies, I actually don't chart vocals first. I chart harmonies first because I don't know. They say that harmony 1 is the one that you would sing when you're singing to yourself, singing in your car or whatever. And then when there's a second part to the song that comes on, that I would take that part and I would immediately chart it to harm 2, harm 3. So I just like to do the harmonies first, get them all out of the way, and then when I'm done, I take basically all of harmony 1 and I copy and paste it into part vocals. And if there's any parts that need to be copied over from harm 2 or 3, I'll copy them also. But yeah, so that's normally how I would do it. I would say in the future, chart to harmony 1 first, as long as there's harmonies, because I don't know. That's how I would do it. So yeah, just a couple of things. This right here, these effects, this is the default one that C3 gives you. I'm going to turn them on so you can hear them. You already know what they sound like. Let me mute this. Yeah, I don't like these sounds at all. I changed the synth to my own. Let me see. These are my settings right here. They're just a little bit different. But I think they sound better. They sound more like a human voice to me, and it's less annoying. So you can play with these settings to change them to whatever sound you like. That's what I use. It's a little louder too, but I don't know. That's what I'll be doing. That's normally how I have them. That's my default. Also, you'll notice, now that we're talking about settings, I keep this on, keep snap on, even though they say not to. It's just so much easier to chart vocals with them on. Obviously, you can't use the higher ones. This will never work, but 64 seems to be the sweet spot. So usually I set my snap to 64 and zoom in till I can't see any more of these things. And also, I don't know if you know this, I'm holding Alt, scrolling up and down to zoom in and out. And then if you hold Control, it makes the notes like taller or whatever. But yeah, same thing works right here. Alt and scroll, and then Control and scroll does all that for you. Useful shortcuts. So yeah. Oh, and also hold Alt and hit 0 to put the names on these. Hold Alt and hit 9 to. This shouldn't even be here. I see it sometimes. All of them should be set fully. I think that's the velocity or something. Yeah, but that's Alt 9. Just make sure that's off. Sometimes it's on. Yeah. So yeah, I use 64 grid. It's good enough. It gets you close enough. Sometimes you might want to go to 128 if you really need to, but it's just so much easier to copy and paste over your harmonies when you're going from one to another. Like if I want to copy this part over here, I just make sure they're both snapped to 64, like all of mine already are. And it's just so much easier to paste this, whereas if I was trying to copy and paste it over and it wasn't snapped, it's like how am I going to copy this and then put it, how am I going to paste it here? You know, I can never line it back up to where it needs to be. So it's just for a number of reasons, it's so much easier to do that. Yeah, and then also the scale box is so important. It helps so much. So I already looked up online, Song Key Finder, that I know this song is in the key of C sharp major or A sharp minor. They're literally they're the same keys. And basically what that means is, if when I do this, you'll notice it snaps and it skips certain notes. It only hits the notes that are in the key of C. So for your reference, and this is why having the colors on really helps. Oops. When you load color maps, the Rock Band vocals. That's why I like to have the same colors every time, so you familiarize yourself with the colors. So these are all the notes. Those are all the notes in the key of C. And every note that is sung or played in this song is going to be one of these notes. So it just, I don't know, familiarize yourself with them. Let me see. Yeah, so that's why having that on just makes it so easy to figure out what the vocal notes are, because it would be hard to do it by ear, but it just kind of, you know, process of elimination gets a lot easier. It's easier to tell if it's this note or this note rather than whether it's this. You know, it'd be way harder. But yeah, almost 99% of songs are going to stay within the key, I would say, like, unless, you know, I don't know, there's an exception. But yeah, so that's how keys work. I could explain to you how chords work, but I'll do that later. So okay, so like if we're gonna chart this song, what are we gonna do? Well, we need the lyrics. I guess we'll do that now. It's easy as pie. So let's do this. Hope I have nothing terribly embarrassing here. Let's go to lyrics. Here is gone. Some of these lyrics have errors, honestly. The Google ones I find have errors often in them. But when you're charting a song and you're paying this much attention to it, you'll notice them when you come across. But anyways, I'm just going to do this now because it's easy. You copy this and then Google the hyphenator. Hey, let's go. Paste it right in here. Boop. Click it one time and wait. If you click it twice, it'll mess up. Copy everything in here. Go here. I opened up a little notepad file. Paste everything. Oh man, this is really not that nice. Not that neat. Yeah, so I can see there's a couple errors. If there's any words that are misspelled, they're not going to pop up. So what you need to do here is just go to Edit, Replace, first thing to do. Find all the dashes and replace them with dash space. And you'll see when you hit Replace All, bam, just adds that little space in there. Because the way that it's going to pick up your lyrics, it needs a space between each one of these things. And then also, you don't want any characters, no exclamation points, none of these apostrophes. Although sometimes I add the apostrophes for words like darlin'. I would go in and I would do this. Same thing with something. So it's up to you. Apostrophes maybe, commas never. So what I would do here is comma, replace it with nothing, delete this whole thing, and then replace all. So then it just deletes all of the commas. Same thing, you want to do it with your question marks, your exclamations, your periods, like whatever. Don't want any of that in here. Yeah. So that this is for pitch vocals. The way you do it for non-pitch is like you'd replace, I don't know. You'll figure that out. So yeah, let me separate this for myself. Not the one who broke you. You were never really there at all. Well, okay, so I just want to break this up into verse and pre-chorus and stuff, so for my own sake. So yeah, save this. I'm gonna go. I already have the "Here Is Gone" lyrics, so I'm just gonna be like lyric test, whatever. Okay. So yeah, so we have this, and we're gonna need to keep this on the screen. Don't delete this. I actually have a second monitor over here, that off to my right. So that's usually where I keep this. for reference. So I'm gonna slide this right here since you can't see my other monitor, and let's go back into Reaper. Okay, so how would we do this? I'm actually just gonna do it the way I would normally do it. I would start on harmony 1. Let me see. I turned down the audio so it's not super loud and abrasive. And yeah. Let me turn that off. Alright. Okay. So the way that we chart vocals finally is we only chart the vowels. The way that it works in the game, you can't chart consonants like P or B or all this other stuff. The mic only picks up the loud sounds, and it also takes a little bit to register. If a sound starts right here, for instance, sometimes your mic won't pick it up for another 64th of a note or whatever, just because of the sound of like a pre or whatever. I don't know, that was a weird example. But that PR in pre doesn't have a pitch to it. You only want to chart the pitch notes. So I'll show you here. So we're just listening for the vowels that the singer says here. And yes, this is the most tedious and worst part of charting, and I hate it, and I think everyone hates it. But let's get through it. Holding Alt up here. Actually, this is way too zoomed in. So yeah, you don't need to be any more zoomed in to the point where you can just see these 64 notes. Here we go. So it sounds like and starts here. U. I'm listening for the O, U, and U. There's the Y. So I'm not charting this Y sound. So by there, I would say he's finally hit the vowel. Let's say that's the U. And also, I turn off the sound and I don't care about where these notes go because I'm just charting like where they are. I'm not worried about the pitch yet. First I chart all the notes, then I highlight them all, I attach lyrics to them, and then I'll go back and I'll individually put them where they need to be. Also, let me show you actions, lyrics. Nope. Cool. Where's my Shift L? I don't know if this is the default or if I set this. I think I set this. Nope. Show lock settings. That's not what that is. I think it's a C3. Oh boy. It will import lyrics from selected file. Yeah. Go to your actions, and this is what I set that shortcut to Shift L. I'm not sure if that's one of those defaults that they gave you, or if you have to set it yourself. Either way, Shift L works so well for importing lyrics, and you're gonna need to come back to this over and over again, and I'll show you why. So let's say this is the U. We don't have that yet. So that's U, and sounds like it's here. So yeah, so you definitely have to just pay attention to where a vowel or a syllable, where it ends and where it begins. So it's almost easier to tell where it ends sometimes and then chart backwards like this. So that's the end of I. And yeah, you don't need to be hyper accurate. If I wanted to, I could be like, it ends right here. But again, I don't know, for expedience and, simplicity's sake, it's easier to go 64th. So U and sounds like it's a little bit longer, and then I. See, it sounds like the I starts somewhere between here and here, so I would drag it to here, and then like I said, if I wanted to, I'd be like, let's bump it out to here. So it's you and I got something. Let's just do that part. You and I got something. Well, actually, yeah, let's just do it. I'm just going to copy roughly up here to not waste your time. But let me see. So So yeah, you can see I already did this, but I'm just gonna use that for reference. Got some thin. Could also even come out to here if you wanted it to. You never want to get this close. You always want to leave at least a 32, like 2 of these 64th note spaces in between notes, and even that's pretty close. Probably 3 is like your safe bet. So yeah, so let's just assume that I copy all of these and they end up being the same, just so I can help you out here. Boom. I'll delete this because we don't know what this is, and yeah, we'll worry about that later. So yeah, let's say we have all these. Normally we would chart them, and we don't know what the pitches are. It doesn't matter. Now, because okay, I'm gonna turn on my sounds. Okay, now because I have the scale checked, this shouldn't be too hard. I like to usually chart it actually to the root. So the root is C sharp. Let me go to C sharp. So usually I would chart like everything to C sharp just because it's easy to listen to the song and it doesn't stick out too much when you're playing the root as it does like any other note. Okay, so let's pretend I charted all these things here. Okay, so actually at this point I could add the lyrics to them if I wanted to. So I would select them all. I would click anywhere, Control A, and then Shift L once you've set that bound. And then this is the first time that you do it, you're gonna have to click on this, and it's okay. But then every other time, whenever you make an adjustment, if I add lyrics here, if I delete them here, whatever, you can even leave these things here. It doesn't matter. Although it might fuck up a little bit because I've overlapped them. Never overlap your notes. So let's do that. Yeah, see, you can see this a little fucked up. Let me yeah, let me delete some, add some. No, okay. So whatever. No matter what, these are already fine. Control A, Shift L. I don't even have to click it again. It's already there. So Control A, Shift L, and then just hit Enter, and it'll automatically update your lyrics. So if I add more lyrics here, Control A, Shift L, Enter. Look at it. See, it's obviously all fucked up because I'm explaining this quickly, but I'm showing you the functionality here. So you're gonna need to do that a lot because what's gonna happen is you're gonna add these bends, you're gonna make adjustments, and you're gonna need to change things, and you're not gonna be able to just like shift and move everything all around. So let me get things back to where they were. Okay. That's pretty much okay. Oh, the only thing I didn't show you is bends, which I guess that's the last thing here. Okay, so we got everything. Control A, Shift L, use our test lyrics. Looks pretty close. For some reason the word I never shows up down here. It's just blank. I don't know why. But if you see a blank one, it's I. When you go to edit it, it says I don't know why, but I's don't show up. Maybe it's me, I don't know. But anyways, so here's You and I Got Something, but it's all and then it's something to me. Yeah.
You and I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me.
So, okay. So obviously those notes are wrong. They don't sound terrible because they're in key, but they're definitely not the right notes. And here's what something that is out of key sounds like, by the way.
You and I got something, but it's all and then.
But
You and I got something, but it's all and then.
you can just, it sounds like doom and dread, which is why it's in a lot of metal songs that they'll go off key. But yeah, it just sounds wrong when it's out of key. So how would we find this first note without having a musically trained ear? Well, hold Alt and just listen to it. And also, don't be afraid to highlight a note and press up and down on your keyboard and familiarize yourself. Alright, so we need to listen for this. You and I got something. And I already know it's this, but how would I do that if I didn't know the first note was a D sharp? I would do this. Listen to it's going to sound very mechanically and droning on, but just try to listen in your head what this note sounds like. Listen to his voice, the note that he's trying to hold. it's like you know, it sounds really annoying, but the way I do it is I kind of burn that sound into my brain for a couple seconds and then try to match it over here, again, with my scale turned on. So now what does that sound like? It sounds like this one. Also, something that might help you, I'm charting in the like lower range where he's singing, but sometimes I'll bump it all the way up an octave, just because it might be easier to discern what the different notes are. So again, let's listen to his note and try to match it here. See, that sounds pretty close. And another way to really help yourself, bounce back and forth between two notes and then try to go over here and replicate it. So listen to this. So it kind of sounds like a drone, like a siren, or like a car alarm that you really hate, but you can't get it out of your head. You can hear that, you know? So you do that, then you come here and you listen. So that sounds a lot like what we just got. And again, you can mess up. I don't know. You can mess up a little bit, but just pick your notes and then play it over the song and see what it sounds like. So obviously... Okay, those are right. Where's this next one? So we need to match that. So which one sounds like that? It's yeah, it's D again. And yeah, and a lot of times you'll notice when you're charting pitches, all the melody is doing is this. You know, it just goes up and down and it skips a little bit here and there, but this is the coolest part. This is why charting vocals is like the most fun and the worst part, because it's the most tedious, but you actually get to see the song kind of come to life a little bit in these melodies. So yeah, let's go on. So that sounds right. But see, that's not low enough, so let's go down. Does that sound right? I don't know. Can it go lower? So you and I got, damn, you and I got something, but that sounds way better than this one. Yeah, it's definitely this one. But it's all, nope, all, and then it's. So if you know the song really well, which I'm sure you do, and if you're charting a song, you probably will, you can usually just do this without even listening to the song, because we've already put these notes where they need to be. Which the hardest part is actually going in and drawing the notes exactly where they need to be. Once they're already drawn out like this is the fun part, which is just putting them at the right pitch. Oh, okay, so here's an example of something we need to do here. So we're doing good, we're pitching our song, right? We Control A, Shift L, hit enter. Okay, the lyrics are where they need to be. Whenever you see something that's messed up, this is how you're gonna fix it. So this right here is nothing, right? You can notice that this is supposed to be wait. Then it's nothing to... Okay, I don't actually remember now. Yes. Sorry. I'm just being lazy. Okay. So yeah, so these notes are where they need to be. But you can see nothing is not split up right. The 2 is supposed to be here, and the me is supposed to be here. And you see the lyrics, if there's a mistake, they just kind of, you know, set off. So what we need to do is split up this word nothing. Now we could go in here and type and change all these, but it takes way too long. So what you do is have this on hand right here. I have it on my second monitor always. Whenever I see there's a mistake, I go, oh, nothing needs to be split up. First of all, I don't like this spelling of nothing. That's not appropriate. Spell everything correctly. I would say nothing. And if he doesn't pronounce the G, so I will say he does leave the G off. So in this case, I will add this, and I'll add N-O-T-H. Boom, nothing. Oh, also, actually, I'm not sure if it's nothing or if it's no thin, right? So which one do I use? I would go to here, and I would just type the word nothing into Google, or define nothing, and find this. So it's no ing. Okay, cool. And that's how I officially split up my lyrics when I'm not sure. So it's no. Oh, I already forgot. Nothing. Cool. So N-O-T-H dash space in. So I do that right here. Make the changes I need to make. Hit Control S to save it. All you have to do is save here. Go right here. Control A. Shift L. And then enter. And that's it. You'll see right here. This got split up into two words. So I'm going to undo. And now it's back. And you can see it offsets all of these. So look at all these notes. Let's fix them again. Control A, Shift L, enter. Boom. Cool. So nothing to me. Alright, so a bend. This is what I wanted to show you. First of all, this is a bend. Not all notes are going to be one thing. You know, sometimes they bend them. First of all, this whole thing is me. You can hear it. So he starts low and goes high. So let me just play it real time. Without the notes. So it almost sounds like it's one, but how did I know that was two notes? Of course, I went in super slow, like you're supposed to, and when you're charting it, you can hear he makes two distinct pitches, like this. So again, bouncing back and forth between two notes is like the easiest way to distinguish the differences between the two intervals. Sorry, I'm a little high. Alright, so let's listen here. You hear that? If you ever hear a distinct, like in my head I just picture like a car alarm, like a whenever you can hear two distinct pitches, that's a bend, and you need to chart it. And here's how you're going to do it. So here, there's two notes. Sometimes bends, Mariah Carey bends her shit like crazy. That girl will have like 10 bends in one note, and she'll go all over the place, and it looks like a mountain range. It's crazy. But this is pretty basic. A lot of times it's just one note that'll go up or down. So the way you chart, you fix this with your lyrics. I'll show you that first. Go back into your lyrics. You'll notice me has two syllables. So go find that me. It's this one right here. Add a plus sign and then hit save. Oh shit. That was Control A. And then hit save. So that right there represents me. That means that these notes, these two notes will be connected through the game. It's kind of hard to listen to them in Reaper. It doesn't connect them automatically. It does if you do some weird stuff, but yeah, so yeah, and also you can only chart, that means we can only chart the solid notes. We can't chart the transitions in between. We have to let the game do that. So that means in the same sense that when we're only charting vowels, we can only chart the solid notes. So listen to when this goes from being an A sharp to listen to when it just starts to get a little bit louder. And the way I do that is I zoom way in and I use these guides. So I listen from here to here. Does the sound change? Yes or no? Here we go. No, this sounds like it's still just a... Does it start to get louder yet? Or higher pitched? Let's listen. No, see, you can hear this square. This square right here sounds the same as this square. So that's a flat. Does it get any louder when it approaches this one? And this is, again, why I use 64ths. It's just easier. But here we go. Does it get any louder when it approaches this one? You can kind of hear it. I don't know. My brain kind of pictures like a roller coaster or something. You can just hear the intensity, like, you know? So... So you can hear that difference, right, of if it sounds anything like that, that means that the bend has already started to go up, which means you leave that blank. The last note, the solid note that you heard was an A sharp. Okay, so then so that's where you start the bend, and then where do you pick it back up? You pick it back up wherever it's solidified. Okay, actually, let me do this. Control A, Shift L, boom. So it added that bend. Anyways, that's why we added this check mark. Sorry, or plus sign, not check mark. So yeah, so now these notes will be connected in game. So yeah, we have to go up here and find where the note levels out, because he's gonna start, and he's gonna go up, and he's gonna hold it. So wait for this to stop escalating and wait for it to level out. And then once you find it leveled out, I just do the same thing I did like over here. I go in reverse and I listen to like, okay, when does it start to get lower? So listen. You can hear this is all one note. Actually, it sounds like I could probably drag this. Boom. Right there, actually. So just in your head, picture that there's a slant between here. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. I'm sorry to do this at a snail's pace, but I just want to do it one time for you to really understand like how bends work. Because it's kind of the only problem you're going to run into is discerning bends. Everything else, finding pitches is really easy. It's easy enough to figure out melodies. So that's how bends work, and that's how you'll go in, you'll add on the little plus sign. So as you go in, you're going to, I already know there's another one here, there's another one here. As you work your way through the song, you keep this notepad file open and keep making corrections as you chart, because you're going to add notes and things are going to mess up, but you need to start from the beginning and go forward. You can't fix something down here if the beginning is messed up, because then when you go, you know, it's going to offset everything. So start from the beginning and do this. So that's pretty much everything about how to chart vocals. As far as harmonies go, I'm about to invent some harmonies for you. Here's how... Oh, shit. Let's see, do I want to do a whole thing right now? The wonders of single take video recording. Let me show you how phrase markers work, and then I'll end it on a little bit of music theory. Okay, so let's say we did that to our whole song. We got all the notes where they need to be, like I already did here. Went through the whole song and put them all where they need to be. The next thing you do is add phrase markers. So you go to the very top. Uncheck the scale for this, because this phrase marker thing, sometimes you can't draw in it if the scale marker is turned on. Wow, this is being a little fucky. Hey, give me that. Okay, cool. Yeah, sometimes if the scale marker is on, you see you can't like draw where you need to go. So turn off the scale, and phrase marker. So the way you do phrase markers is pretty easy. Click one. If you hit V, you select every note in the row. So V, I'm going to delete all these. Phrase markers, pretty easy. You just need to overlap all the notes that you have. So yeah, if my note starts here, just overlap it. There's a certain limit to how many words you can get in a single phrase. You can't go like the whole song in one phrase, because after a certain point, the lyrics stop showing up. A good rule of thumb is a phrase marker is as long as a single breath. So it would be like... You and I
I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me.
I could sing that all in one breath. That's, you know, that's all like one inhale. So then I would make that, and then I might make this its own phrase marker, the yeah.
Yeah.
And then you would inhale, and this is when it comes. This is another phrase. This is easy enough. These are short enough. It's pretty easy to tell. It only becomes an issue when you have longer ones like this. So where would you divide it here? So the whole point of phrase markers is for scoring. Each phrase is its own score, and then you can go back and then, oops, and then you would, okay, cool. You would go back and like select what you want, and then just turn them into overdrive phrases by dragging them up. Pretty much 1 out of every 4 phrase turns into an overdrive phrase. It's usually a rule of thumb. But yeah, the point of phrase markers is to break it up for scoring. Let me see. Nope. Maybe this one. Okay, so this is going to have to be multiple phrases. Don't be too afraid to get close and break it up. So I would say that what do you got to move you, darling, is its own phrase, and then it starts another phrase right here. Don't be afraid to zoom way in. As long as they don't overlap, you can do this and then start a new phrase right here. You can break it up. Phrases can even be touching each other. There's nothing wrong with that, so don't be afraid to do that. And then this will be phrase 2. Yeah, I would say this is all its own phrase. Yeah, so that's how you would add phrases. And this is why I would do this on harmony 1. I would chart all of harmony 1 first, and then I would go in, I would select it, hit V, copy all of it, go into my vocal chart, line it up, and hit paste. But yeah, so that's that. Oh shit. Yeah, so let me revert my shit. Bum 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 bum. Nope. I'm gonna leave it all offline. Cool. Okay, so boy, this has been going on for a while. Okay, so that's that. At that point, you're pretty much done. So let me explain to you in a little bit of a musical theory way how harmonies would work. Just real quick before I wrap this up. So let's say I have this all charted to harmony 1. Actually, why don't I just do that? Delete you, copy you, paste. Boom. Turn that off. Okay. So now I got all this charted to harm 1. Okay, so this is how normally I would do it. I'd have my harmonies are all charted out, or my harm 1 is all charted out. And now I want to go back and add the parts where they harmonize. But this song doesn't have any harmonies, but we can make them because music theory is a thing. So, which part do I want to turn into a harmony? I'm not the one who broke you. I'm just gonna do it to the first one. Fuck it, I don't care. Let's say there was a harmony throughout the whole song. Some people do that. How would we make that? Easy enough. We would take what we have, copy it, bring it down into our harmony, line it up, paste it. So now, right now, these two things are singing, these two parts are singing the exact same thing.
I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me. Yeah.
Let's throw in the yeah, cause why not? Oh shit, it's actually not lined up. Yo, there we go. Okay. So yeah, this is how easy it is with this check mark on. This is how most of your harmony is gonna work. You're gonna have that. You have that checked. You're gonna go up. You're gonna hit twice, and that's about it. That's usually it. You can go up 3 times. That's usually a good harmony too. Most harmonies are gonna be 2 steps up, or 2 intervals up, I should say, or 3. So here's the original. go up 2. It's never up 1. This will never be a harmony. Listen to this. This is the good harmony. Actually, this isn't where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it here. Up 3. Here we go. Ready?
You and I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me. Yeah.
See, that's how harmonies work. It's that simple. If I go down, here's the original. That's up 2. I think this one sounds better. This is up 3 intervals.
You and I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me. Yeah.
Right? And here's why it will never be 1 interval. You'll never ever copy, paste it, and then the harmony and then hit up once. Because there's too many notes that overlap here, and it's not going to sound good. Listen to this.
You and I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me. Yeah.
See, it sounds like shit. So yeah, literally find your, or instead of going up, you can go down. It works the same direction. Go down 2 or 3, and it's another good harmony. So listen to this.
You and I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me. Yeah.
Now I'll go down 3.
You and I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me. Yeah.
So that's as easy as it is. So let me go back up to and just solo this or turn this off. So here's the harmony by itself.
You and I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me.
You and I got something, but it's all and then it's nothing to me. Yeah, see, that's cool. That's not even in the song, but if he wanted to harmonize it, that is what he would do, because that's how music theory works. It's almost the same every time. It's really cool. So I can show you how that works, and all that is intervals and chords. Real simple. So this is the part. This is the music theory part of the song, or the music theory part of the video that I hopefully linked to earlier. Yeah, so this is how chords work. This is how all your favorite songs work. Easy peas. Let me turn on this. I'm gonna go to harm 1. Let's find out our root name. I'll turn this off here. Look, no matter, because it doesn't matter what key you're in. We're in C. You take your root note. If you want to turn that into a major chord, I'm holding Control, but you can copy and paste it. Holding Control, and you go up 4 places. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we got up 4, right? And that is that first harmony that I was telling you about. And then from there you go up a couple more to the 7th. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now this is a major chord. On a piano, this is how you get major chords. Okay? Now, harmonies work almost exactly the same as this. You'll notice if I turn on the scale thing that these are obviously in the key of C sharp, but and when you go to harmonize, if I hit up twice, you'll see it's here. If I hit it again, it's here. If I hit it again, it's here. But yeah, so whenever you're making harmonies, you're essentially just making a chord out of the root note. So what I'm doing over here is I'm making a chord out of this note by adding this to it. Now, the reason I show you this is because this works no matter what key you're in. If I'm in the key of B, and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the first one. 5, 6, 7. Now this is a major chord. Okay? So if my note was a... So yeah, that's how harmonies work. So basically harmonies are replicating this kind of structure. So we're gonna leave scale on. And we'll notice C. So there's intervals. and usually the interval you're going to use is the third and the fifth. So this is the 1, 2, third interval, fourth interval, and fifth. Those are pretty common. So usually it's going to be one of these top ones. But use your ears and you'll be able to figure out. But that's why chords work. It's pretty simple, and you can turn anything into a harmony basically. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to hear what this sounded like with a harmony. Yeah, so I want to do this ever there at all. Copy it. Whoops. Copy it, move over here, paste. Now we've got the same thing. Let's add a high harmony to it. It's up 2. Let's go up even higher. Even higher. That's a full octave. So yeah, what you'll normally find is like your root will be on harm 1, you'll copy that, you'll paste it down to, this is actually harm 2, but I kind of fucked it up. But yeah, this is harm 2, so you'll have this. As long as your scale box is like, alright, there's going to be one here, up 2, and then there's probably going to be another one, like, I'll just do it here, but I would then open up harm 3, okay, harm 3, go here, paste it, and I would go like down 2, so let's see what that sounds like. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but let's see. So that means now we got this, we got this, and we got this. Yep. So that's how harmonies work. It's really easy. It's a little intimidating at first. There's kind of like a lot of knowledge going in, but it's a pretty simple process. I can't stress enough. It's so easy to just chart harm 1, find the parts of the song that they harmonize on, copy them. Copy the whole thing here, paste it down here, and as long as your scale box is there, go up 2, maybe 3, and that's your harmony. Yep, that's about it. I don't know where else to really go with this, so yeah, that's how it's done. I covered pretty much everything, where you get the lyrics, where you get the keys. Remember, you're going to have to keep editing this text file, adding corrections and adding the bends where they need to be. When you're done, you add the phrase markers, go back, make sure you add in all the overdrive markers to keep the game interesting, I guess. They're not really that important. But yeah, that's it. Then you compile that shit and deal with all the errors. If there's any questions, let me know. I was all over the place with this. I don't know if I covered everything I wanted to. I think I did. Maybe not in the best order. But yeah, thanks for watching. And let me know if you have any questions. Later.